All right, I'm going to get rolling. So this is a deep dive into how you can better serve your sellers as a real estate staging expert. And I really am passionate about this. I ran a real estate brokerage in Southeast Florida where all of my realtor partners, all of my realtor associates were staging experts. So my name is Russ Fitzpatrick, and that's my beautiful wife, Carrie. We are willing to do staging consultations with you, meaning you don't have to fly alone. Carrie and I will look at photographs, FaceTime with you, or if it's practical, we'll drive right over to you and walk through the house. So this is a partnership we're looking to build. And I want to tell you about a friend of mine named Hallie Augustinelli who lives in Palm Beach, Florida. You've got to put your teeth together when you say that. You got to say Palm Beach, Florida. She lives in Palm Beach, and she's a staging executive that runs a company called An Organized Home. She was the person that helped us really put this together. I also want to mention in Greenwich, Connecticut, another community where they put their teeth together when they say Greenwich. They're from Greenwich, Connecticut. She's a staging advisor in Greenwich, Connecticut, and she put together a second course for you that's free called Beyond REALTOR. Our class is called Real Estate Staging Expert, REALTOR, and she does an advanced course for us that's free from any charge. You have to have gone through this course before you can go through the next course. But Victoria Goyo put together a little bit more design-centered curriculum for Beyond REALTOR, and that's free from any charge for you guys who complete this course. Carrie and Brittany, if there's any tech problems, I'd like to know about them now because we're going to get into the meat of the matter here. And this is probably the most important slide on our curriculum, in my humble opinion, because I've been a realtor most of my life. This slide really summarizes it all. So you guys can see the screen and you all can hear me okay?
Everything looks good.
Thank you. So I want to tell you what we've learned about real estate staging since 1986. I've sold 3,400 homes, staged about 2,000 to get in the listing living rooms, getting the listing appointments with a staging offering. Rather than offering recipe cards and a free CMA, we offer a staging consultation, and I hope you'll join us on that. Now, you can stage a home for $600. You can stage a home for $2,000. I know professional staging executives that charge between $600 and $2,000 for staging services. But you hold a license in the industry of residential real estate. So you can stage real estate for $9,000 commissions up to $50,000 real estate commissions. And I've personally discovered that it's more profitable to add staging as a service that I can provide rather than try to become a professional staging company. So that's the first distinction I wanted to make for you guys, that you can differentiate yourself. You can add value to your professional service offering. As a licensed real estate agent, you can stand out from the sea of sameness. You know, anybody can put a house in the MLS. Anybody can do a broker's price opinion or a CMA. But if you can add equity, if you can increase the sales price, and I believe you can, in a market that's getting where the listings are sitting a little longer, you know, in a market, not all the markets in North Carolina, but in many, many markets in North Carolina, your sellers are getting anxious because their houses are sitting on the market for, 45, 60, 90 days, and they've not had that experience yet. And some of you as realtors, that got into real estate in and around 2020 or a little earlier than that, you never had to worry about listings not selling, right? You didn't have to worry about staging or merchandising real estate. You really could just put them in the MLS and put your feet up on the desk and they would sell, you know, professional photography, getting it enhanced on Realtor.com and Zillow and whatnot. But, you know, one of the misconceptions, and I'm going to address misconceptions with you, is that you have to rent furniture to stage a house. I don't think that that's true. But today, if we complete our relationship together and we want to work more closely together, we're going to help you leverage the power of video on social media. I think that that is one of the most crucial decisions that you can make in residential real estate in 2025, going into 2026, that your face, your voice, your inflection, your conviction, your passion starts to show up on social media in the form of video. Don't hide behind text and don't hide behind memes. Get your face on a video camera and start putting your face on social media. Professional social media and email marketing content that is seller facing. That's what we're going to give you today. We're going to help you offer free staging analysis. Offering free staging analysis to your farm area, to your sphere of influence, your friends and family, your past customers. If you've got a FSBO ambition, if you're going after some of those DIY sellers, if you're ever working in the expired listing marketplace where they've been on the market for 6 months or 4 months or 3 months or a year, and then they expired. And how about North Carolina? Probably one of the most prevalent consumers in the entire United States is these second homeowners, vacation homeowners up and down the coast in North Carolina, all throughout the Western Carolina mountains. And you've got absentee owners coming out of your ears in North Carolina. So absentee owners are people who own a home here, but live somewhere else. And when a seller requests a staging consultation, they're asking for advice. They're opening up. They're being vulnerable to you. They're opening up a whole new context, really, like a different department to talk about normal conditions that hold a property back from selling, or for sure hold a property back from selling for top dollar. This is true. I can tell you stories. If we ever got to know each other better, I could tell you hundreds and hundreds of examples of a seller that just became open and vulnerable and transparent and said, I could use some help. You know, I've got a listing within not even a half a mile from where I'm sitting of a single man who has his house valued at $439,900. But when you go in it, it looks like a frat house. It looks like a bachelor pad. It's not meant for the marketplace. These folks need our help, and they need you to market to them. We're going to give you a full Canva-based suite of marketing materials. We're going to give you social media content that you can start to share on all of your social media platforms and via email and via text to your would-be sellers. And I'm just going to say this once and for all. It's much more profitable for you to operate on the listing side of residential real estate than it is on the buyer side. I love buyers. I'm a mortgage banker, so I want to pre-approve your buyers. I want to work with your buyers. I want to help solve solutions, create solutions for your buyers. But as a real estate advisor, as a teacher, trainer, and coach to realtors for the past 30 years, I want you to know that it's my ambition for you that you start to take more listings as we approach 2026. And one of the ways you can do that is to use our marketing materials to stand out and differentiate yourself. This may make you nervous. This may get you excited, or you may think this is common. But we've got a teleprompter that we can put on your phone, and you can read off our script from your teleprompter, and your face, your voice, your passion, your conviction can be seen by thousands and thousands of sellers on social media. So we're going to gift you the teleprompter technology. There's free teleprompter technology. And there's free scripts for you. We've got TikTok scripts, 15 to 20-second hooks where you smile direct into the camera and read these little brief captions and, hashtag them and get them seen. So there's a real movement here for us to help you attract more buyers and sellers, and especially sellers. The most distinctive tool that we're going to gift to you today is a 16-page staging booklet. This is a booklet that's Canva-based so that you can personalize it. You can put your brand on it. We hold a copyright on the materials, but we do not protect it from your brand. So you can brand it with your contact information. In fact, if you call me up and we talk about it and you want to make a substantial change to something that's in the book, I'm open-minded. If there's something specific in your market that you deal with saltwater damage or termites or rust or anything that's specific to your local market that you want to add to our staging booklet, you're able to. Your sellers will be treasuring this advice. On the left side of your screen, you can see there's a room by room checklist. That's how we've modernized staging into what I refer to as merchandising residential real estate. It's not about hiring some lady from Palm Beach County to come in and rent a bunch of furniture and repaint all your walls. It's more about a simple room by room checklist that produces a consultative analysis of the property from the hearts and minds of buyers, real estate investors, and realtors. This is not a complicated thing. Well, how do we do all this for free? How do we help you be more productive in real estate? How do we help you with all this staging marketing materials? Well, we're sponsored entirely by my passion in residential real estate for 38 years. We run the Hero Benefits Network, which is a nonprofit 501c3 essential employee relocation and referral network. Hope you hear me on this, guys. This is essential employee relocation and referral done by a nonprofit. And what that allows us to do is to gift the referral fee back to the hero. That's it. Simple Simon, right? So if we receive a referral fee on a relocation, instead of pocketing that 30% referral fee, we go ahead and turn it around and produce a nonprofit 501c3 grant. Now, you might think 501c3 is no big deal, but I learned that I can't give a hero money. It's not lender compliant for me as a realtor or as a mortgage banker just to give them a gift letter. Our grant are nonprofit in nature, and they extend to the administrative and clerical staff, all the civilian employees at a hospital, all the civilian and administrative employees, all the doctors and nurses. Our grants never have to be repaid because they're not a loan. We are compliant. Now, this is crucial for you to hear me on. We're gift letter compliant. If your hero is doing an FHA, VA, USDA loan, even a conventional loan, we're allowed to gift them this money because we're a 501c3. Now, this is important. We know that some of you work with first-time home buyers and down payment assistance programs. This pairs perfectly with those down payment assistance programs and first-time home buyer programs. So if you're dealing with a EMT, EMS, firefighter, maybe a nurse or a doctor, we can create a relocation grant from $6,000 to $10,000. We can create a homeownership averaging between $3,000 and $5,000. And our commitment at the Hero Benefits Network is to match HR employees. We deal with HR departments across North Carolina, and we match those HR departments with discounts, rebates, and incentives. In closing on my commercial about the Hero Benefits Network, we help teachers, coaches, professors, law enforcement officers, firefighters, doctors, nurses, and veterans, first responders, and essential employees. This is a free program for all realtors in North Carolina to join. The distinction I want to make before we get back into staging is that we have a coupon code in North Carolina to make you a mission sustainer, which means that all of the registered heroes that come into our portal are subject to a 30% referral fee. But remember, we turn that referral fee back around and it helps us fund those grants. So I hope you find some passion to get behind this nonprofit, and you can join at herobenefitsnetwork.org. You'll get to know me better as we go. One more quick commercial. I'll do this one really fast so you don't get too angry at me. I am a mortgage banker in North Carolina. I run the state of North Carolina for mortgage lending. We do first-time homebuyers down payment assistance, FHA, VA, USDA, and conventional. Don't get mad at me. I'm doing it quick. Second home, vacation homes, STR mortgages. I am so excited to tell you that I am whooping up on the banks at jumbo levels all across North Carolina with a lot more options for jumbo lending than you can get from most of the retail distributive branches and or federally chartered banks. We also do bridge loans and HELOCs and HELoans. The difference between a HELOC and a HELoan is one is open-ended and adjustable, and one of them is closed loan and fixed. So they can buy before they sell. And we do have an entire specialized division with a team dedicated to reverse mortgages for your 62 and older. Reverse purchase is becoming more relevant as retirees coming from Florida, Maryland, Virginia into North Carolina. We do a 95%, just 5% down on construction loans. That's unique. I don't know many people that do a 95% land and home package construction loan. And we also do renovation purchase mortgages. So we can guide any borrower, and I can help you if you want to work together with me more closely. And I'm going to say this once here, we're not looking for 10 realtors in each county. I only need about 2. If you're in a county that you want to help us with the Hero Benefits Network, we're not looking to put 10, 15, 20 realtors in each county. We're looking to put 1 or 2, maybe 3 max realtors, or maybe 1 small brokerage in a county. So if you're a broker owner who's on today, or if you're a realtor and you're in one of the counties, there's 100 counties in North Carolina. So imagine if I had 2 realtors in each county. That would be a fantastic network of staging professionals and Hero Benefits Network directors working to help those first responders. So if any of that interests you, you can click on the QR code at the end of the screen and get to know us better. But we're going to switch back in. Sorry about the commercial, but it has to pay the bills. I still got 2 kids left in college. I put 5 kids through college with no student loans, and these are the last 2. They're both seniors. One's at Kennesaw State University in Georgia. The other one's at Western North Carolina University out in Cullowhee. So I'm excited to meet you, do mortgages with you, and attract more attention from real estate sellers and get you more listings. So what's the big deal about staging? I'll tell you what's the big deal about staging. It's earnest. It's real. Merchandising residential real estate can increase the offers that come in. And you got to check yourself. Do you believe that? Do you believe it with NAR and National Builders Association and all those goofy TV shows show you specifically how to merchandise residential real estate to increase the sales price by 6 to 13%? Do you believe that's true? Well, if you do believe that's true, aren't you doing your seller a disservice not to bring it up? I mean, hell, your commission's probably 6% and you can increase the price of their home by 6%. What's wrong with that? That's a fantastic value add service for your sellers. Decrease the days on the market up to 40%. And that's the National Builders Association, HGTV, ASP, American Staging Professionals. It's also NAR. They all study this stuff, guys, and they have the statistical observations to show you how just a couple of simple staging decisions or merchandising decisions can decrease the days on the market and increase the sales price, the actual price of the offers that come in.
We have a question. It's just perfect
Sure.
timing. How do you work around a seller still in the house?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's kind of like a honey-do list. when we do a staging evaluation with a seller, they are open. They have to be open to ask for it, right? So you've got a seller who says, hey, I'd like you to do a free staging analysis, and you're going to take some photographs. You're going to see in the workbook that we're going to give you, there's a full room by room checklist. And then when we present that to your seller, or you present it to your seller, you're going to give him sort of a good, better, best that we end this class on. Sort of a ideal, mandatory, and desired, right? Like not every one of your staging suggestions is mandatory. Obviously, this is his decision or her decision as a seller. But you can definitely create that honey-do list checklist for your seller. And I'm just going to talk turkey for a second. I need a $35,000 price reduction on a house, and I know it. Well, what a better way to open up dialogue about conditional issues than a staging analysis. You know, it's very difficult to tell a seller that his house smells like dog, or that the dogs are interfering, or the cigar smoke, or the dampness or dinginess in the basement, or that his teenage son lives like a vampire in the back bedroom. These are not things that are comfortable to bring up. But when you have a staging analysis, you can have those conversations with a seller because they're creating a professional context to have those conversations. Carrie, anything else on that? Or does anybody
I was just
have
going
any?
to answer it. Yes, I was just going to answer it in the text chat. But do you allow your staging in a home that the seller continues to live in?
Absolutely.
It's what it's designed for. Yes.
Yeah, this is not builder developer staging. This is more real world merchandising, and we're going to show you that in just a minute when we start getting to the pictures and the checklists. So give us just a minute, we'll catch up on that. I think some of these misconceptions are that you're renting furniture, or this is some major project. And I was watching a television show where a seller of a multi-million-dollar condo apartment in New York City, he put $150,000 into his staging to make sure that he could capitalize on his best price. That involved gutting the house and putting in some new built-ins and painting everything. That's not what we're talking about here, guys. We're talking about North Carolina merchandising. You know, yes, there's some, you know, 10 and 15 and $20 million houses up and down the coast. There's some, you know, $3 and $4 and $5 million houses throughout. But a lot of what we do as real estate professionals is guiding a seller for some common sense merchandising decisions. And I think you're going to see this all the way up to and including the multi-million-dollar houses. But we don't have to rent furniture. This doesn't have to be a major project, and this doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, if you look at home staging versus home repair, sometimes staging furniture is about removing some of the clutter. Sometimes staging furniture is about rearranging the furniture that already exists. Sometimes landscaping trim is as simple as planting some flowering plants and putting some mulch or good pine straw in. I'd like to point out that the top side of this grid returns a higher return on investment than the lower side. So sure, somebody could put in new carpet, somebody could paint interior, exterior walls, replace carpet, or replace wood flooring. Somebody could upgrade their bathrooms, but you're going to get a 100% or 50% or 40% return on that investment. Whereas if you just did some of the I would say common sense decision making and helping, like that bachelor in the 439 asking price house, helping that couple with 3 kids decide that, hey, we're moving, let's go ahead and put some of this stuff in storage while we're getting our house on the market. And if the 3 pit bulls are interfering with the saleability of a house, let's address that professionally in a professional context. So we're going to give you all the statistical observations and all these mathematical equations, but more important than what staging does for your sellers is what can it do for you as a realtor. of course, we want to deliver world-class service. My favorite quote in the United States of America is, there is no, that the only competitive advantage in business is world-class service. That the only sustainable competitive advantage in business is world-class service. If we lived the mindset that the only sustainable advantage in business is world-class service, then we understand why we're bringing staging into it. We're offering more value, right? So if the only sustainable competitive advantage in business is world-class service, we've got to provide every angle. We've got to outflank our competitors from every area of endeavor. And that means we're going to get in more living rooms and take more listings and sell more houses as a real estate staging expert, because we're outflanking our competition. Some of the realtors that I see in North Carolina use these unique selling propositions at the bottom of your screen. You know, everybody that I knew from 1986, when I first started selling real estate, to today uses either broker price opinions or free CMAs. How much is your house worth? Many realtors across the country use market data reports or neighborhood news or property resale reports. Some of our more aggressive partners, the top 10 realtors in the country, they use a lot of 60-day sale guarantee, 30-day sale guarantee, guaranteed cash offer on your home. If I can't sell your home, I'll buy it. I'll sell your home in 60 days or less, or I will pay the mortgage payment until it's sold. Those are unbelievable, risky, bordering on compliance issues when you don't deliver what you promised. I know a realtor, I think he's out of Arizona. He was I think he sold a couple hundred homes a year. He was a freak, but he lost his real estate license because he was saying too many of these unique selling propositions and he wasn't backing them up when the market shifted on him. He couldn't buy all those houses. And he got his hand caught in the cookie jar. Move with me and use this truck for free is a common one. And one of mine that I used forever was highest price if you can close by Thanksgiving, because I've got families that want to move in before the holidays. Highest price if you can move before the new year, because I still have families that want to be in before the beginning of the school year potentially, or before the beginning of the new calendar year. But as a staging expert, I want you to imagine that you're starting to prospect or send postcards, send direct mail, mentioning this to a for sale by owner or an expired listing at their front porch. Hey, I can provide you a free staging evaluation. It's a $600 value. Our company here in New Bern is the only company that every one of our real estate agents is a certified staging professional as well. Every one of our realtors in Greensboro is a certified staging professional. So for absolutely free and with no obligation, we can do a staging evaluation, a staging analysis for you for absolutely free. We can help you increase your sales price by 6 to 13%, speed up your sale by as much as 40%, free staging service. These are more gentle, unique selling propositions than the ones below, I think. I think some of those below really border on, I don't want to call Mark Spain or Lori Finkelstein Reader out on the 60-day sale guarantees or 30-day sale guarantees, but I've seen the fine print, okay? Guaranteed cash offer on your home. Hell, I'll give them a guaranteed cash offer on their home if it's low enough. but it's, I don't think it's bait and switch, but it's certainly out there in the realm of, hey, I get them to call me on this guaranteed cash offer, but 95, 99% of the sellers that call me just turn into a regular listing. That's really the heart of those unique selling propositions. With ours, we're actually delivering the staging evaluation and analysis free from any charge. And we do believe that it's worth way more than $600, and it can increase the sales price of their home. So all these letter templates and postcard templates and social media memes that we give you are meant to attract sellers. So now, without, well, I'll open it up one more time, Carrie, if there's anything going on. This is where we're going to get to it. And this is where we're going to wrap up our relationship in understanding what merchandising residential real estate is. It's probably not as complex and as big of a project as you think it is. We're going to review how you can make a difference for your clients without spending a lot of money. We're going to show you some pictures of houses, many of them in North Carolina, many of them as recent as August and September of 2025, just this past month or two, where the seller and the listing agent scheduled a showing or scheduled a photographer, a professional photographer, and then they knew we were coming, okay? They knew we were coming. These houses were active on the market. So when
Can't
you
wait
see
for
this,
y'all to see these. Oh, it's so fun.
what's that, Carrie?
I said I can't wait for them to see these. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's not smart alecky for me, but it's certainly 30 years or more of experience that really leads to this adventure that we're about to take. Every photograph that you're going to see in the next few minutes is from an active listing in the MLS. And I'm going to turn to this house in Raleigh that's asking $555. How much money does it cost to get rid of those stupid cords on the left side of your screen? How much money does it cost to clean up those floorboards? Carrie, my wife, would be down on her hands and knees painting those floorboards, removing that wallpaper with a steamer and making that room look beautiful. Is that the only 4-blade ceiling fan you've ever seen? I mean, wouldn't you be better off just taking that ceiling fan down and leaving a vacant outlet than having a 4-blade ceiling fan that's supposed to have 5 blades? There's stars on the ceiling that can be picked off with your fingernails. This is not a complex staging opportunity, is it? But this family's asking $500,000 in Raleigh, North Carolina, and let's give it to them. In COVID and 2 months ago, 2 years ago, when interest rates were in the 3s, 4s, and low 5s, you could probably sell this house anyway. But that's not merchandising, is it? How about this is the bathroom in the same house? What is the? Did someone throw a toaster into this tub? There's a electric cord draping down into the tub. Those doors just could be shimmied and put on proper, or shimmed and put on proper. And there's some sort of cob dust or termite dust that's prevalent on the countertop. Now, I could never have sold a house with Formica countertops in 2010 for $500,000, but I know that houses will sell for $500,000 with Formica countertops now. You know that that's prevalent. But look at the shower door and just a little bit of CLR. Now, some of you are rolling your eyes. That's not staging, Russ. Well, you can give a seller advice and you can tell them to dip their shower head into some CLR. You can tell them to buy a $1 tube of caulk at the Home Depot or Lowe's, and you can caulk out and get rid of all that mold and mildew. Some of these pictures really made me shocked that a listing agent who's going to make $26,000 on this property, and I'm not price fixing. I'm just saying if you're going to make 2.5, 3.5, 4% commission, 5%, 6% commission on a house, and you don't even bother to explain that a $1 tube of caulk could really make a huge difference in the hearts and minds of your realtors. There's more pictures to come, but I want to just draw the line between real world staging, real world merchandising, and some simple good decisions. It is optional to rent furniture. It is optional to create a contemporary design. It's optional to paint a house or put in new area rugs and house plants and really go to that level of staging that some of you were thinking about when you came to this course. But it's mandatory to do a deep cleaning. It's mandatory for some of these sellers to declutter and put some things in storage. It's mandatory if you want to get top price for your house to look at the windows and screens and think about aroma management. That's a nice word, isn't it? Aroma management. Sounds like better than odor control, right? Lighten and brighten a house. You're going to see some pictures coming up that you as a realtor would consider mandatory. Bookshelves, bookshelves are for books, but when you're selling a house, bookshelves are to demonstrate where they're going to put their books, not where your overstuffed collection of books goes. These are active listings. Each one of them, they knew we were coming. And so I can't even stress enough. They knew we were coming. We were coming to see the house, and they still left 7 electrical appliances on the countertop in the kitchen. They kept their soaps and dishwashing materials and an empty bottle of water on the counter. That treadmill should be gone in the back left corner or back right corner of that picture on the left. I don't care if the husband was relegated to the couch that evening, but he could have picked up the sheets and blankets and pillows off the couch. And again, no exercise equipment and that house on the bottom left, you can't just have your storage boxes. Some of you are going to laugh at me, but I took these pictures in active listings. That one on the top left, the seller took some advice and spruced up that room. That's the same room on the right that's on the left. And then that kitchen is the same kitchen on the left as it is on the right. So when you think about staging, when you think about merchandising, I want you to think about the front window in the mall. You know, how do they make that retail center merchandised? It's about order. It's about cleanliness. It's about less clutter. This was a real staging event in North Carolina, where the homeowner had let the landscape go as you walk up. We probably could have done better with that picture on the right, but it definitely helped, right? This is a real staging situation, more of an organization staging, and they already own this other couch that was in another room. We thought, you know, that's not a bad decision to, you know, move that couch out and put a fresher, even a little smaller couch in. And they ended up taking the area rug and that runner out and took the cords away. Little things, right? You're seeing they're not expensive to do. They're just common sense. When it comes to wood rot, when it comes to wood destroying organisms, when it comes to wood destroying fungi, it's not if the seller's going to have to do it. Most of the time, even on an as-is contract, some of those mortgage clauses require that there's a clear wood destroying organism report before they'll fund. Not all of them, but some of them do. So we advise our sellers just to go ahead and take care of that. Some water entry at a crack on a door frame just needed to be cleaned up and patched up and repainted. That was not an expensive thing. This is a real story. This happened to me when I was selling real estate. And I moved into the mortgage business primarily about almost 20 years ago. I still hold a license in Florida. I still broker referrals all over the country. And I do send and receive referrals through the Hero Benefits Network. And they are funded through my brokerage and turned into a donation to the HBN. So I'm still very active in sales, but this happened many years ago. The buyer pointed to that little stain and he said, "This house is filled with mold." I could not understand how he made the leap from that rust around the spigot outside of the house to telling me in front of his wife that they couldn't buy this house because it was full of mold. And my heart kind of sank because this was a fairly expensive house and it was a high 5-digit commission that would have been earned. But he thought that because there was a leak around that spigot, that the water was permeating the interior walls, and the CBS construction of this house was a concrete block house, that the water entry was permeating and that it had created a mold issue in the house, and he wouldn't buy the house because of the mold. Now, he wouldn't talk about a mold remediation inspection. He wouldn't talk about, inspecting behind the stucco. He just told his wife, "We're not buying this house because it's filled with mold." And I can tell you that cost that seller a good offer on his house. So you'd be surprised. I'm going to remind you of a quote from a guy named Peter Drucker, who wrote a book called In Search of Excellence. He said that when you walk on a plane, when you walk on a commercial airplane, that coffee stains on the seat tell the traveler that you do not maintain your jet engine properly. That if you would let coffee stains on your seat in a plane, that you would probably not be taking care of your engine properly. And it makes them more nervous when they're flying. Well, that's exactly what happened to this buyer. He saw something that was benign. It was irrelevant. It was just a little bit of splattering from the water. And he thought that the entire house was filled with mold. Now, I couldn't, as a real estate agent, get in an argument with him. I just found him another house. But your sellers need to hear this. This is an $800,000 property in Raleigh, North Carolina. I took this, we grabbed this picture from a professional photographer that was there on 8/24/2025. This was a real house, really asking $800,000. Would that be anything but a blower and some clutter removal? I'm going to buzz through these quick because I think they're common sense. If you see something, say something. If you don't ask, you don't get. Putting it in the professional context as a merchandising real estate agent says, hey, it's worth pulling those weeds and getting a new cover for that GFI outlet outdoors. It's worth getting that pool cleaning equipment. It's worth taking your kids' toys and putting them away. So the questions about a seller being in the house, I would say out of the 2,000 roughly staging analyses I've done, I would probably estimate 1,800 of them were houses where the families were still living in the house, and we were consulting with them about real world merchandising while they're living in the house and telling them that, hey, if you're moving anyway, let's go ahead and get this ready for the move. Some of this stuff can be put away for the 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days leading up to this closing. And I can assure you as a seller, I can tell you from experience that if we approach this as if you're moving, you will be moving. If we approach this if you're staying, then you might be staying. Because if all these things are so important to you to keep out in the open, then, you know, it's going to be harder to find a buyer. How about, not to mention the bugs in the fluorescent casing, but the framing. This is as little as a 1x4 around that attic access, and then just a little bit of paint. You know, it just didn't look finished. I walk into so many garages, so many barns, so many even carports that are full of storage when we're getting ready to sell a house, second bedrooms and second bathrooms that just need a little organization and caulking. This is a hypersensitive issue in Carolina, the issue of religious artifacts, and there's a diaper changing table in the dining room. I don't know why, and there's some storage, but we don't ever assert religious artifacts, but we can tell you that builders, developers, and high volume real estate investors know that you want the doors and windows and the walls to be free from over personalization. I always notice that people look at other people's stuff when they're looking at a house, right? I've shown thousands and thousands and thousands of houses, and I've seen the husband looking up at the ceiling and looking up at the cracks on the walls. I've seen, you know, the husband looking at the prescription bottles that are on the countertop. You know, it's inevitable that curiosity abounds, just taking that stuff away. And if I could stage this further, I would have taken that stuff on the left away and just left the lamp, because this is a beautiful master suite. You know, this is a beautiful master bathroom, and having fewer things on the countertop. I don't think you have to be a staging professional to notice that, but when you're going through our proprietary staging workbook that goes room by room, you're given an opportunity to look for these things. You know, in the kitchen, you're looking for X, Y, and Z. In the bathrooms, you're looking for A, B, and C. Now, these electrical outlets were down. They had fallen out of the ceiling, and Carrie got up on a chair against my advice and pushed them back in and twisted them so that they could stay in. I don't know why the seller had those done when it was active on the market. This was just a simple caulking This is more visibly what my version of merchandising and staging is about. This is nothing other than opening the blinds and getting rid of the stuff on the end table. This is nothing other than lightening and brightening and getting rid of that silly electrical cord that squeezes all the way over from the nightstand and running an extension cord behind the bed. That's all that takes. That's just 5 minutes of effort. Have you ever been woken up by a smoke detector battery and you use a broom handle to knock it down or get it off? 2 a.m. Some of our sellers didn't take the time to replace their batteries. We went ahead and helped them out and put new ones on. I don't know how this happens, but little things we were able to recaulk, repaint, repatch. These are what it's all about. Right here, what you're looking at. This is a $750,000 house. And, the shower is probably, you could probably play racquetball in that shower. I'm telling you, that was a big old shower. But it looked cluttered. How many loofahs do you need? I mean, how many loofahs do you need? And when you were in college, do you remember carrying your little basket down to the shower? Maybe that's what we need to do for the week that the house is on the market. And if we merchandise the house properly, the house is only going to be on the market for a week or two. If it's priced right and it's merchandised properly, we can get this house sold quickly. But if we're going to overprice it and we're not going to merchandise it, we're going to be sitting here for a while. So, you've got to find your professional empathy. You've got to nurture that seller towards these good decisions. And what I will tell you is that when you open up that staging book, and they give you permission. My old buddy Floyd Wickman, I was a sweat hog in the 80s. I was a Floyd Wickman sweat hog. I was a cold call cowboy, and I was trained by Floyd Wickman and Mike Ferry how to get listings. When I was with Floyd, he would say, there's a safe island. I want to take my seller to a safe island. I want to bring my seller to a place where, would you like me to give you advice that could maximize the sales price? Is that a job that you'd like to give me? Would you like to give me an opportunity to share with you simple things like opening these blinds or getting rid of the clutter in this beautiful master bedroom, taking some things off the countertops where we can really merchandise this house to get the top dollar? Would you give me permission to do that? And once they give you permission, say, I'm going to take liberty to take photographs of the things that I see that could be enhanced by merchandising decisions in residential real estate that can make a huge difference in the price that you get for this house. And it might not seem common to even some of our top producing realtors and broker owners that are online today, but I can tell you that in Malibu, California, a friend of mine gets probably 30 listings a year just on staging. And those houses are multi-million-dollar houses. And she's being asked into those houses just for her advice. You can become the guru. You can become the expert. You can become the person that notices, condensation on the air conditioning vent, and how that's caused is by a problem with the air filters being changed. These are all redundant now. What about just closing the closet door there in the hallway and picking up the Barney doll and maybe dealing with some, Carrie uses this formula called Tough Stuff. It's about $5 a bottle. And it's not a carpet cleaner, but it will take care of those stains. I can promise you that. This is an air conditioning vent, a drip line that comes out right next to the front door. And what we recommended is just a bottle of bleach to get rid of all that mildew and mold and pressure clean. If you've got dead plants, if you've got overstored garages. This was a cute fix that Carrie did in front of me on a staging client where the wallpaper was peeling away at the top. She wet a warm, wet washcloth and reactivated the glue and smoothed it out. And it looked like $1 million when she was done. These are little tricks of the trade. You don't need a trick of the trade to get rid of the, what is that? a tape measure or some of that storage. Making beds, come on, man. This is 101 for a real estate investor, a builder, or a good listing agent that understands that trampolines take away from value, killing all the grass, and maybe could just go away or be packed up for the new house. We do see a lot of dust and cobwebs and just minor maintenance things that can be addressed when you're listing a house. If you talk to the CEO of Lennar or KB Homes or GL Homes, they would tell you that clean screens and clean windows increase the value of their models. Carrie, this is where we start doing some of the before and after, so I can take a natural break here and just see if there were any questions or thoughts. I don't know if this is the course that you were hoping to be at, but I'm going to tell you what, you can take a lot of listings as a real estate staging expert in your local market, and we only need a couple of realtors per county that we can help in North Carolina. This course is only going out to North Carolina right here. If you're in from another state, you probably got the invitation by mistake, but this is a North Carolina centric staging expert course. Carrie, you got anything for me?
Nothing except for you are at 10:55, so you might want to take a peek at that.
Oh my gosh, let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, I'm sorry guys, we're gonna wrap up. Look at this. These are before, that's after. Before, after. These are simple little staging decisions that we made for this seller. This is before, this is after. Before, after. Going quick now. I don't know about you, but if I'm trying to sell my house, I might want to open it up, and I'd probably get rid of those floaty toys outside of the window too, because they're going to draw your eyes away from the selling features of that house. I understand that this seller needed to, thank you for the time alert, Carrie. I'm sorry about that. Passionate about the topic. Diaper changing and all that, that's before, that's after. All right, this is a gift. 10 things that you can do that are tricks of the trade for equity enhancers, whether you go all the way and get your staging certification from us, whether you finish up and get the certificate of completion in the marketing suite or not. These are 10 things you can take away. Brand new welcome mats. One of my top listing agents down in Coral Springs, Florida, carries brand new welcome mats with him in his trunk and gives them away to his sellers on listing appointments. Screen removal, spotless windows, fresh white caulk, clear on dark surfaces, white on or eggshell, removing clutter, listing decor, less is more, dog less showings. These are the top 10 equity enhancers that I've learned after almost 40 years. Planting petunias, mums, impatiens, or begonias at the front entrance. Fresh grade A cypress mulch or pine straw. Wood rot, rust, not if but when you do it. Do it now. Might as well do it while we're putting the house on the market instead of after we're under contract. It might hold up the sale, and you got to have a re-inspect. It's not worth it. Just go ahead and let's get it done now. Number 9, lighten and brighten all rooms. Open all the blinds. And I've lost more emotional connection to houses based on smell than almost any other thing. If the family cooks with curry or does a lot of cigar smoking, get some Mule Team Borax or some charcoal bags and put them underneath the furniture. There's 10 tricks of the trade. We're wrapping up. This is how you do a staging analysis. We take pictures on our phone or on a digital camera. We don't actually perform. Carrie does it against my recommendation often, but I tend to not want to actually perform the actual staging activities. We just make specific notes and recommendations, and you'll use our 16-page booklet that's customized and branded to your office, to your brokerage, and you're going to do the notes in digital photographs, and then you're going to do what's called a prioritization. And you're going to do a prioritization with budget concerns. So it looks like this when you're done. For less than $100, I'm going to recommend that each of these things be done. For less than $500, you can do these things. So it's the recommendations are based on budget, right? So these things up at the top are just either free or easy to do, and they're highly recommended if we're merchandising this house to achieve the highest possible price. The things in the middle, a little more expensive, you know, some minor paint, some minor wood rot issues. And ideally, if you really want to maximize the sales price on this house, I might recommend these 3 or 4 things. And these things might be a little more of a capital investment for you. So you can see, I hope you can see how this becomes a consultative resource for you if you're dealing with price reduction concerns, if you're dealing with a new listing that you know is going to have some conditional concerns. We're going to ask you to customize your booklet. We're going to ask you to take the advanced staging course, which dives deeper into design and furniture placement with Victoria Goyot. That's an absolutely free course. We're going to gift you the free Canva marketing suite and all of our teleprompter scripts to make the guru in you come out on social media. And we're going to thank our nonprofit, Hero Benefits Network, and my mortgage company, CMS Mortgage Solutions in North Carolina, for helping put this together and making it worth us to do all this stuff for free. If you have an affinity or an affection for what we're talking about and you want some collaboration from Carrie and I on these staging opportunities, on these listing appointments, you can jot down my direct cell phone number at the bottom of your screen, 828-482-7659. And I'm just going to switch to this screen and leave it open. I run a club of realtors called Agents in Action. Had 4,800 realtors join us in 2022. Have on average about 1,000 realtors a year for the past 20 years join the Agents in Action Club. It's a true real estate productivity platform where we do a course a month. North Carolina Realtors, you can get your staging certification and access the free Canva-based marketing suite by just clicking on that QR code on the right-hand side of your screen. It'll bring you to a little Q&A, little 6 or 7 questions, and then we'll send you out your staging certification and the free Canva-based marketing suite. I'm going to end on this, guys. I only have a need to build a relationship with about 2 realtors per county. I really believe that we can work with the HR departments at your county's employment, county employees. We can work with the police department. We can work with the fire department. We can work with the local schools. And I took leads yesterday from police officers in Haywood County, Macon County. Over the last month, I've probably got 14 leads. New Bern, the different counties across North Carolina each have sheriff's offices, fire stations, police stations, and county employees, first responders. So if this is something that you're interested in working more closely with Carrie and I, we have a whole team to support the Agents in Action group, and we're excited to build a more, I want to say intimate, a more close relationship where we're working more closely together. So click on that QR code if you're interested in working together more closely. Thanks so much for your time. Anybody have any questions or need any direction before we wrap?
It looks like we're all good here in the text chat. We just got a few
I'm
things
sorry I
coming
went
in.
over on time, Carrie.
We'll forgive you this time.
But-
We know you get excited.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you all for being on, and I'm going to leave the QR code up there for a couple minutes if you decide to do it. If not, jot my phone number down and call me directly.